What is going on, guys and girls? How are you doing today? Single Roleplay here once again, and today I want to show you guys the most anticipated build for this league that I did, and this is CHAOSMANCER, which I previously called the AFKmancer, simply because you could literally AFK all boss fights, including the Elder and the Blighted encounters and pretty much anything in the game, simply because there was too much damage and the clear speed is ridiculous. The build that I want to present to you was on my radar for quite a while, simply because I had this wicked idea to combine the best of two worlds, the zombies and the spiders. I've never really played spiders, and I last played zombies in 2.6, so I wanted to see just are they still worth it. I mean, they were pretty shitty for the last several years, so they would die all the time, they were dumb and slow, but this patch a lot of things has changed for the minions. We get the Feeding Frenzy support, mid-shield support, fantastic gems for the minions, and overall minions have been buffed all around. So I wanted to check what I can do with zombies, and especially if I add spiders on top, how will it perform? And the results were absolutely ridiculous. I didn't even expect this kind of build, guys, because I killed Uber Elder multiple times in under 2 minutes, and under 2 minutes means that you literally instantly face the bosses. This is the only way how you can reach the under 2 minutes kills, and means that there is so much damage in this build that literally everything dies instantly. Let's take a closer look. Before we go further into the video, I would like to stop for a second and thank my Patreon supporters and Twitch subscribers. You guys have no fucking idea how much I'm thankful for you. If you just stop for a second and put likes on this video and share it with your friends, it will be already an insane amount of support, and I will be forever grateful to every one of you. Thank you so much, and remember,
you, yes you, are making a difference.
First thing I want to do, I would like to thank one of my subscribers, Imperium. He played AFKmancer in the Blight League, and he quitted the league about a week ago and just gave me most of the AFKmancer Baron gear that allowed me to really hasten the process of gathering and accumulating the build, simply because I didn't need to buy the Baron, the chest, the boots and the gloves. I just added some things like the shields, the weapons, and some rings, and so it was way faster to do. So thank you so much, man, for giving me some of the important gear. Now, why spiders and zombies in the first place? Like I mentioned, I wanted to create something unique, and I had this idea for a while. Even in the previous league, I wanted to try this out, but just didn't have the time. I wanted to specifically try AFKmancer with the spiders, and this was the goal of the league. No specters, guys. If you look at the PoE Ninja, what you will see is over 140 characters just running the specters with the AFKmancer, and this is the standard setup that you see. But only 4 players reach 95 plus with this setup, and they had the same idea that as me, to combine skeletons, to combine spiders and zombies in a build. And this is a pretty non-meta rare setup that not many people even play, and this is extremely powerful at the same time. And the last thing that I wanted to try in the build is the full chaos conversion with the new Triad Grip gloves, which allow you to convert minion damage to any type of elemental damage. And if you get 4 white sockets on the corrupted gloves, you can get 100% chaos conversion. And what chaos conversion means is that not many people realize is that it is the most powerful type of damage in the game. For one reason, because most bosses have 40% elemental resistance but only 25% chaos resistance, which results in them taking like 15% more damage straight from the chaos damage. So the chaos type of damage is the strongest type of damage in the game. Another problem that we solve with full chaos conversion is all kind of reflect. Physical and elemental reflect from the minions can really kill them, being it specters or spiders or the zombies. And even those spiders are kind of immortal, but for zombies it's a pretty big deal, since if they are pure physical they can really run physical reflect, and if you add some Triad Grip of the Council or Hatred to your setup, they can really run elemental reflect as well, so they instantly just kill themselves on the reflect maps. But the full chaos conversion, you don't give a shit. They can run all kind of reflect maps, they're making them extremely flexible and at the same time very powerful. The last thing to mention about this kind of setup is that it's pretty much, I think, the best setup for overall clear speed and the single target damage for a couple of reasons. Zombies overall are still pretty dumb and they stay close to the summoner, but spiders on the other hand, they go off screen and chase the enemies. They have some kind of weird script built in them. They really chase enemies, which is absolutely fantastic for the blighted encounters in the blighted map, because you can really go, literally they sit at the portals and just kill everything that comes out of the portals. You don't really need to go anywhere. They just stand in the center and just watch things die. And this is exactly what happened in the Elder fight, where I literally AFK'd in the center, and that allowed minions to kill everything without even me moving at all, simply because spiders are so crazy. And even on a free link, and spiders is a free link here, guys, they deliver the same amount of damage as the zombies on a 6 link. So the spiders just by default are extremely powerful minions, and not to mention they are also immortal. They cannot die. Like the Herald of Agony, they have life, but they cannot die, so they run damage on full life support and just fucking destroy everything around. Let's take a look at pathway building, guys. I will show you what I need to do over here to get this kind of sick damage. So first of all, we start as the witch, and just take this intelligence node because it will further be taking them and transforming it into strength using the efficient training jewel. So take this shortcut over here with intelligence, grab life with the heart and soul, go up, take the Lord of the Dead, and then just grab the cruel preparation and ravenous horde. We'll be anointing the death attunement, and this is slightly better than the ravenous horde. Between the two, it is way more expensive, but it's slightly better, so I opted for taking the ravenous horde and just anointing the death attunement for now. And then we're going over here on the left, taking the sacrifice, and the most important thing to take early on is the minion life leech. That will allow your zombies to survive nicely early on, as well as then go into the spiritual command, get these juicy minion nodes in the Riders Army and Redemption, then go down and start taking Grave Pact, all these life nodes and shit. And basically now we are gathering strength for the Baron through these juicy Heart of the Warriors, Warrior's Blood, Bloodlines, and then we going to the Utmost Might to get this shit ton of strength. This is extremely important. This is practically the only way how you can get over 1,000 strength necessary for the build. At the very end game, you can start speccing more into life, taking the fat life nodes over here, as well as grabbing some pure strength and life as devotion, getting more armor with faith and steel, as well as giving sovereignty. This is like the very top end things you need to take just to get more auras, stack more reservation, so you can stack like haste and mosquito bots and aspect of the avian and all other juicy shit. The reason why you don't see anything here is because there is a Lethal Pride timeless jewel over here, and I will show you in the game what it does. Basically, Lethal Pride gives me a lot of strength in radius here. It gives strength to most of the notable passives and 4 strength to the minor nodes, so it gives me just a lot of additional strength. This is it. Now let's talk about the gear really quick, and this is the core items of the build. I would say that the most important things for the build is the Arcalis Fang, because it allows you to summon spiders, and it's a 100% chance to trigger level 1 raise spiders on kill. Spiders are capped at level 75, so they have like damage cap, but it doesn't matter since they deliver like a shit ton of damage, if you can see over here. So basically like 200k per spider, and since they deliver like 20 spiders at a time, this is about like 4 to 3 million cheaper DPS, which is a lot for the freeling spiders. Arcalis Fang is available at level 53, and before that I just used a normal, absolutely cheap, like 5 chaos temple minion wand, which has increased damage, 5 chance to deal double damage, and just crafted a Betrayal Syndicate mod with minion attack speed. This is like very cheap, very affordable, no big deal. For the second weapon, I use the Spring Leaf for a while. I level up with the Gold Rim and Spring Leaf for very far into the end game. I'm just using the Spring Leaf, which I upgraded to the Oak, so I can recommend using the Oak. It gives 3% life regen and 50 plus life, which is quite a lot for the shield. It doesn't cost that much either. And this is the shield that I bought for the end game, and just a pure stat shield, nothing crazy here. Just strength, a shit ton of life resistance, and shit ton of armor as well, which is good because we are mostly in the close range, and physical damage reduction is important. If you can get the shield with reduced mana reservation in the socket jump, it will be absolutely crazy, because you can potentially even get more like the Arctic armor, or something else, like something useful for your build, but it's not mandatory, not really necessary, and just a stat shield like this is more than enough. For the helmet, this is the Baron, and that allows you to get a +2 to level of socketed minion gems, which is where our Golem and Spectres are, and we're using Host and Carnage Chieftains as a Spectre. As you can see, I'm using 2 Host Chieftains and 2 Carnage Chieftains for the Frenzies and for the power charges. Nothing else. Nothing else is very important. And it goes with +1 to max raise zombies per 300 strength. We will have 1,200 strength in the build, which is not easy to achieve, but is fairly possible even without any overinvestment. So it will give us like 4 additional zombies on top of the zombie cap. When we reach 1,000 strength, 2% of damage dealt by your raised zombies is unleashed to you as life, and it's quite easy to reach, and it makes us extremely tanky. The body armor is Sagival's Nest, and this is a pretty damn sick chest for this build specifically, because it gives you a shit ton of attributes, which is literally your dexterity and strength, which is very important. It also gives 10% reduced mana reserved, which is absolutely amazing, because we're reserving a lot, like the Skitterbots, Haste, and the Purity of Adamants if we need it. And the most important thing is that 100% increase aspect of the avian buff effect. Aspect of the avian is a rotating buff, which gives 100% increased 100% chance to deal 10% chance to deal double damage by your minions, and then it rotates to the 10% increased movement speed, and this chest increases the buff by 100%, making it 20% chance to deal double damage by your minions, and 20% chance to increase movement speed. With the Grave Pact, which gives 5% more on top, it like 25% chance to deal double damage, which is absolutely fucking sick. But the most important thing is definitely the reservation and the 2 all attributes. The second best chest for the build is the Rotting Legion. Unfortunately, is not available in the passive building, but I will show you guys in the game really quick. And Rotting Legion supports the chest with the level 1 mid shield support, and this is a new support introduced in the 3.8 Blight League. And mid shield support gives your zombies a more defensive state, and 20% more damage, so this is an effective 7 link for the zombies, which is a pretty damn sick shit, and it costs like 1 alchemy, which is very good as well. For the gloves, this is probably the most important thing. This is why the build is so powerful. This is the new gloves called the Triad Grip, and the 4 white sockets can be achieved by a temple corruption in the temple of Exile. These gloves are pretty expensive, and this is probably one of the most expensive part of the build, which is kind of a stretch goal for you when you will be playing the build. And 4 white sockets allow you to convert all physical damage to the chaos damage. It means that zombies and spiders will deal no physical damage. They will be fully chaos, no elemental damage as well. So they will be immune to all kind of reflect. And also, like I said, most bosses, including the Sheeper and the Elder, have only 25% chaos resistance in comparison to the 40% elemental resistance, which basically is the lowest resistance for them, and they take way more chaos damage than any type of other damage. This is why it's so strong. The boots are the Alberon's Warpath. This is extremely important. This is another core of the any Baron Zombie Master build. This is increased strength boots. This is like a corruption of that I have on my boots, +1 to level of Socketed Gems. This is extremely expensive corruption, but it's not mandatory. It just gives you like level 5 Enlighten, +1 to the auras, and this is where auras sit, simply because they get +1, but this is not mandatory. You can just get any Alberon's Warpath. The only thing that is important here is 18% increased strength. This is the only thing that you need to worry about. The amulet are a couple of things. First of all, is this crafted amulet, and this is absolutely sick. A shit ton of strength, dexterity, life resistance, and +1 to maximum number arrays of zombies. This can be crafted with the Bound Fossil, I believe, but it's definitely not easy to get. And what most people use, if they don't craft this shit, they can use just the Astromantis, because Astromantis gives you a shit ton of attributes, and this with the Astromantis is way easier to achieve 1,200 strength. So this is what most people use in the build as a cheap substitute to this kind of sick amulet. But this is kind of a stretch goal. You need to work towards this one. The rings are one ring with 50 plus strength, the second is 50 plus strength, and the aspect of the avian. And we need to get aspect of the avian somewhere, because the chest doesn't really give it. It just gives you an increased buff effect for the aspect. But aspect itself can be acquired on the rings, on the belt, and on the shield as well. So like 3 places where you can get the aspect. And it's up to you to decide when you can get it. Ring is probably one of the easiest to get, and the belt as well, because the belts just drop fucking everywhere. The rings should be like this. In order to get 1,200 strength, you need to know a couple of things. You need to get strength on both rings, the amulet, and the belt as well. This is very important. The belt is absolutely standard belt with strength, life, resistance, nothing fancy about the belt at all. And if you are struggling with the strength, there's one good belt that you can use. This is the Cyclopean Coil with 15% increased attributes. You can even get the corrupted belt with increased strength on it, and it will be even way easier to get the required amount of strength. But just a normal Cyclopean belt, like you can see. Unfortunately, I have 1,100 strength, and this doesn't do justice, simply because the pop doesn't show lethal pride. It's impossible. I have over 1,200 strength, but no lethal pride, so it doesn't show. But without it, I can show you how you can easily reach this amount. So this is the Cyclopean Coil, you see, and then I add in the Astromantis, and I'm over 1,200. Nothing fancy here at all. Easy to reach. For the jewels, that's pretty much anything. Added chaos damage, accuracy, resistance, life, whatever you can get. It's not a big deal. The flasks, like I said, is pretty much just defense. Basalt flask, taste of hate, cold damage as physical damage as cold. The third is the Granite Flask of Fire and Skin with more armor and more armor on top of more armor. The Writhing Jar is an important thing to summon spiders, and I will specifically show you in the game how you should be summoning spiders. And the Fire Flask is a life flask. I have Blood of the Carib, but you can literally use anything else. The jewels are the Watcher's Eye, which is just one of the very few that can be used as physical damage taken from hits as the fire, well affected by purity, and we are run Purity of Elements here. It's purely optional. It doesn't really life-changing. You can run without Watcher's Eye, absolutely no problem at all. But anything useful as the Watcher's Eye can be good. The other two jewels is the efficient trainings, and this gives you strength, as this transform intelligence into strength as well. There's a couple of good places where you can use it. One is here, which just gives you a 70 intelligence transform into strength, and this one is here, which transforms 50 intelligence into strength, which is kind of 150 strength combined, which is quite a lot. Now let's talk about the skills really quick, and this is a full link with the Burn Helm, which is the Spectres. Like I said, I have, where is it? Yeah, I got the Carnage and Host Chieftains. Carnage Chieftain kept being quiet early on in like Act 2, I believe, and Carnage Chieftain Act 6 or 7. Host Chieftain is Act 6 or 7, so they both summon the Frenzy Warcry and kind of a Power Charge Warcry. And they have been nerfed in the past, so they don't really summon as more charges as before. So now they should be supported with the Blood Magic even more. So in order for them to effectively use their war cries, you need to support them with the Blood Magic. Without this, they will be way less charges. And what we have here is the Raised Spectre, Minion Life, and Carrying Golem. This is the kind of mandatory things to have in the helm, along with the optional Blood Magic if you want to gain more charges. And this is an open slot. I use Enduring Cry here as well because I have 4 Endurance charges. I take Endurance for the Lethal Pride over here because it gives me a increased strength over here. So I have 4 Endurance charges, which allow me to really get like even absolutely ridiculous toughness if I press Enduring Cry manually. And another popular option is to use Mortal Shell, which synergizes with the shit ton of armor that you have. So it's totally up to you what you want to use here. If you feel like you're not tough enough, use Enduring Cry or Molten Shell. If you feel like you don't give a shit, you're surviving like everything like I do, just use Blood Magic and give power and frenzy charges to your minions. On the falling is the auras. This is in the boots where I had the Lucky Corruption with +1, which is Purity of Elements, Skitter Boss, and Val Haste. Yes, I also have haste, and I was also very lucky in the Uber Lab to get the haste. Has 15% reduced mana reservation, so it allows me to actually use haste. And as you can see, I keep my haste low with level 12 for a good reason, simply because it requires a shit ton of dexterity, which I'm really low on, and I don't want to raise it more, and you don't want to raise it more as well, because it will be required to take a shit ton of dexterity somewhere. And since we're mostly stacking strength, I absolutely do not recommend leveling up your haste more. So it's like this. This is a free link in the shield, and this is the corpse skills, which is Spirit Offering. Spirit Offering is really nice. It synergizes fantastically with the build. Adds 30% of their physical damage as extra chaos damage. This is an absolutely silly boost for the spiders and the zombies, and no Flesh Offering, boys. Spirit Offering all the way. Spell Cascade with the Desecrate is to create a shit ton of corpses for the spiders, so we can raise like almost 20 spiders in one cast, and I'll explain you guys in the actual game in just a little bit how we are summoning the spiders. This is the combo which is used to do this, along with the Writhing Jar. This is another free link. This is the Arakalis Fang, and this is where we get our spiders from. This is a pretty standard bossing setup, damage in full life, because they always in full life, they never die, they never take any damage, they are immortal like the Herald of Agony, minion damage, and ruthless for bosses. For the clear speed, I use Melee Splash, because they just fantastic clear speed with the melee splash. That's about it. This is a 6 link for the zombies. Zombies, Feeding Frenzy, Empower, minion damage, Withering Touch and Multi-Strike. If you don't have Empower, use Ruthless. Pretty much the same shit. That's about it. Mobility is 45 shield charging faster attacks, as well as the Orb of Storms. Orb of Storms is here, guys, for one fucking reason: to kill Writhing Jar of Worms and to get spiders. Once again, I will show you guys in the game how it should be done. And that's pretty much it, the aspect of the avian, and that's about it. We take 2 passive points, don't need to take anything. And for the ascendancy, the first thing is mindless aggression, the second is unnatural strength, then we take the bone berry, and then the commander of darkness. You probably question me why not Mister of Sacrifice, since it gives the minion duration for the spiders. It's up to you to decide. Honestly, I didn't see any problem with the spiders. They last for quite a while, even without it. I didn't even took the duration over here. I know that a lot of people take Potency Wheel. To be honest, guys, there was just so much damage. The clear speed is so ridiculous that you just resummon like 2-3 times during the map, and you just don't need to invest so much duration in the minions. And then the spiders, for now, just invest into life and some pure damage outside of the duration. Duration is just a quality of life, if you will. Up to you totally. Invest in duration. For me personally, I don't give a fucking shit. There is a pretty close duration node over here which called the Enduring Bond, and this is a new node over here in the 3.8, and I take this early on to get the spiders up and going, but this and this in the Ascendancy, I didn't take it. I just opted for pure damage and resistance. That's about it. So let's talk about how we actually summon the spiders. I checked some existing builds, and they don't really tell you how to do this. You know, they tell you that you need to desecrate and then put the fucking Writhing Jar, and then you get the spiders, which is not true. In order to get the spiders, you need to kill something, and since we don't really deal any kind of damage, it's a big fucking problem for us to kill something and get the spiders, because most damage is done by the minions, and we deal no fucking damage. When we press the Writhing Jar, there appears kind of worms from the flask, and in order to get the kill, we need to kill them first before the minions, and this is a big problem because they have a shit ton of speed, they have a shit ton of damage, and it's extremely hard to kill anything before they kill something. So in order to do this, we need a spell that has enough damage, that kills very fast, and at the same time it kills before minions reach them. So how we do this is I use Orb of Storms, and this should be a very high level Orb of Storm, because with the lack of damage and the no spell damage, we will not really do that much spell damage in order to kill worms before the zombies slam them or the specters reach them. So what we're gonna do is we press Desecrate, we put Orb of Storms, and then quickly we put the Writhing Jar, and there is a chance that we get the spiders, but it's not a guaranteed it's not a guaranteed one. So we need to do it really fast. So you need to be very fast, as you can see. If you do it with a little delay, then zombies or the specters or the carrying golem will reach your worms faster, and they slam and they die. All the worms are being killed instantly. So all we need to do is really fast to press Desecrate, really fast to press the orb, and then really fast to press the flask. This is it. If you press this fast enough, you will get 18 spiders here. They will last for quite some time. This is it. Another thing that I want to show you is the Lethal Pride, guys, and what exactly it does for this build. So this is the Lethal Pride Timeless Jewel. As you can see, it is basically what it does. It takes the notable passives and gives strength to it, and it gives 4 or 2 strength to the existing small nodes, which results in a shit ton of strength. Another thing why it is so good is it transforms the endurance node into the 5% increased strength, which will allow me to reach a shit ton of strength without even doing that much of a thing. Indeed, Little Pride is hard to get. It's not easy to get the required a seed for this to get this strength, but it's fairly possible, and I would say that this is probably the best thing you can do to get the strength easily. As you can get, this one gives 40 strength to me. This strength nodes give 4 strength each. This gets 2 strength each. This gets 4 and 20. This is a lot of strength that I get from the Little Pride. There's one thing though, one thing that can be also done. I've seen it in some builds, and I will show you guys what it is. And this is a thing using Unnatural Instinct. There's also one trick that you can use Unnatural Instinct, as you can put Unnatural Instinct over there under the Juggernaut, and this Unnatural Instinct will transform and suck in all this juicy strength over there, which will also give you quite a bit of strength, like this. This is also another option. This is kind of even like, I think maybe not as cheap, but definitely is way more reliable without putting a shit ton of divines on the Little Pride. So yeah, if you have a Natural Instinct, if you somehow get it, if you want to invest a little more into the build, you can try to put it over here and suck in all the strength around. This is it. Thank you very much, guys, for watching the video. I hope you liked it. The build is absolutely sick. Indeed, it's not very cheap, but it can be done cheap because the wide socket Triad Grip is practically the only thing necessary to really get like the core of the build running. The other things is not very crazy. The aspect of the event chest is like 40 chaos. The boots are like nothing at all, and pretty much it's like 6 Exiles plus, maybe even cheaper if the Triad Grip will become cheaper on its own. The build was a shit ton of fun, is extremely tough, easily reaches 7,000 plus life, over 150 resistance, as well as 15,000 armor. This is probably one of the tankiest minion builds I've played in a while, and it was just a pure enjoyment. And thanks so much, guys, for making it happen. Thanks for all the support and all that. Take care and see you soon.